It's a start, and that's better than we were before. And so I'm delighted that both sides are now sitting down and trying to find solutions, because it does impact our heartland region tremendously, because our economy is built around agriculture and manufacturing, and those are the two areas that have been hardest hit in the last couple of years with the difficulty we've had between the United States and China.
And talk to us a little bit more about that impact. When you talk to Missouri farmers, what did they tell you during this crisis? And what do they feel, how do they feel about this now, if you had to guess?
Well, first of all, farming is different than most other things. When you raise your soybeans, you can't put them in storage for 4 or 5 years and then bring them back. So they had a real loss of income over the last couple of years in what was occurring. So with agriculture and then too with manufacturing, now that both sides really decided to sit down and talk, that's got to be a win-win for both if we get this done in the exceeding months.
And talk to us about how your organization, what it's done to sort of diffuse this crisis before this agreement was signed.
Well, we're working with agriculture farmers. In fact, we're planning a delegation of African-American farmers to China in the next year. We're also working with industry. What most people don't realize, most of the manufacturing that occurs in the United States, so much of it comes out of this 20-state heartland region, because we have been known as a manufacturing hub of the United States in years past, and we still play a very, very important role in that portion of the economy.
Governor, do you believe tariffs are the right approach in dealing with trade disputes?
No, I think what we need to do is be sitting down and taking a look at all of the different issues. This is only part of it, and as many people have said, this is really the kind of the easiest part of the negotiations. But the fact is, it's a wake-up call for both sides to sit down and figure out how to make it work, because we are the #1 and #2 economy in the world. And so it's critical to us, but it's also critical to our civilization, that these two countries figure out how to make this work for both of them.
Some would argue we didn't even have to get to this point. Could all of this have been avoided?
Well, and I've heard that argument on many sides, but that's the past. We've now taken the first step moving forward, and I think it's important that we continue to focus on how we move forward and how we address all of the issues that confront our economy and confront China's economy. My interaction, both in my own country, of course, and in China, is we have wonderful people on both sides. We just need to find those people, get them together, and figure out how to make this relationship work for both sides.
And how do you do that? How do you make that relationship work for both sides?
Well, I think the more that we can develop cultural relationships, educational partnerships, and business partnerships, that will help ease the stress. We just need to better understand both cultures so that we can all work together. And if we do that, I think we can be in a very successful time.
Governor, should Republican leaders in this country, should they be more vocal and public about the impact of these tariffs on their communities?
Well, I think it would be helpful for the American people to understand the impact if our public officials in both parties were talking about these issues in the future. Keep in mind, there's a lot of credit being made today about the significance of this signing, but this is only the first step. This should be our wake-up call to start trying to reach out to people in all sectors in both countries and figure out ways to make this work for both, because it's in both of our self-interest for us to do that.
And Governor, finally, are you optimistic that the enforcement mechanism put in place will ensure both sides are in fact complying with this trade war agreement?
Well, that's the reason we need to continue the dialogue and talking with each other so that we both understand where the other's coming from, so they can find common ground. I mean, we've got two different countries with two different cultures, two different political systems. And to make it work for both the United States and China, we've got to find that common ground